It had an interesting tempo, the lighting was effective and helped show movement within the piece, and the setting was quite clear. We were with them. We knew we were in a bar, the furniture was appropriate. I would have liked to have seen a few more people ordering drinks and not always beer. What about the wine drinkers? A gin and tonic, perhaps? Now, bottled drinks seem to be more in vogue. We could clearly see the relationship developing between the two protagonists. Mike was very clearly showing his coercive side, and we see Mary, quite submissive at first, and then grow in confidence to the final surprise when he's dangling from the bridge and we wonder whether she'll reach out and grab him. His fall, both actual and metaphorical, was cleverly presented with the swirling lighting and the haunting music. A fitting climax. Well done. The direction in the main was good, though I would have liked more pace, particularly around the fight scene. A good choice of actors, though a few slip-ups with lines and a few interesting additions, more colourful language than was in the original script. The audience enjoyed it all, though. Well done. The next play will be Stars and Strips. Phew, that's all done for the time being. I'll have to gather my wits for the next offering. How many more are there? Another 4. Gosh. I'm going to have to keep my attention up for the rest of this drama festival. Perhaps I should have had that second coffee, but then I'd have to excuse myself halfway through, and that wouldn't set a great precedent, would it? Imagine those on stage noticing that their adjudicator couldn't even make it to the end of the play and having to head off. It was good of them to invite me down here, though. It's not a bad little number, really. They put me up in one of the committee members' houses. They look after me. 3 meals a day, a hearty breakfast not too early after my night at the theatre, some homemade lunch, occasionally al fresco if they decide to take me out sightseeing and we have a picnic, and then an evening meal for me after a hard night's sit at the theatre. On the last night, I like to take them out for a meal to show them my appreciation. It's the least I could do. They really attend to my needs. If I need extra pillows, they're provided in an instant. There's a hot water bottle by the bed, heated blanket, towels changed every other day, and even a set of slippers, so my feet don't get cold. If I fancy exploring the local area, it's never too much trouble. All I need do is ask, they say, and well, there's so much to see. They're only too pleased to ferry me around, perhaps gives them the opportunity they need to see places and that they take for granted. They pick me up from the airport and take me back when I return. They are really good. First class. I feel like a visiting dignitary. Nothing is ever too much trouble. When I told them that my soup was too cold, it was whisked away and heated up for me. I told them that I preferred my bread only lightly toasted. The more charcoal-coloured pieces were removed, and they accommodated my request. No problem. Usually my eggs are boiled for 3 minutes, and I mentioned that one of them was slightly over, so another was presented shortly afterwards. I think they like my little quirks, and have even started warming my egg cups in advance, the way I like it. I'll have to give them a positive review. I'm sure they'll be delighted with the present I brought them. Some driving gloves for him. I sometimes see him blowing his hands on the wheel if we set off on a chilly morning, and egg cozies for her. Perhaps she can make use of them when I come back so that eggs are maintained at a constant temperature. It will be their little memento of me. But it's at the theatre where I feel most at home and where I feel I can make the most difference. It's wonderful when they announce my entrance, this year's festival adjudicator, and I make my way across the stage, down the stairs to my allocated seat. Ring-fenced, of course, so there's no mistake for any of the general populace. One time, I recall, there was someone sitting in my seat when I approached. I think they thought that the 2 cordoned-off seats reserved for me and my chaperone were some sort of first-class arrangement, and they appeared for a few moments to be enjoying the limelight, waving to people in the audience. Some of the spectators probably even assumed that they were going to be this year's officer, so I think that they played up to that attention. How disappointed they were when I approached with my assistant. The ushers did their ushering job properly and moved them to their allocated seat. There was supposed to be an F3 and 4 rather than an E, complaining that the light was too dark to see properly on their tickets. A poor excuse in my book. I did, however, get one of the staff to sanitise the area afterwards, however, as there were fragments of Murray mince and popcorn in the area, hardly what one is accustomed to, and not conducive to a night at the theatre. In the end, I asked them to get the hoover out and do a proper job of causing the whole festival to be held up by a good 15 minutes. I think the audience quite rightly vented their dissatisfaction in their direction, whilst I took some delight. I took some delight in lighting my little lamp and settling down to writing my crits. I think the audience could tell that I was the real deal, as I exude a bit more class. It's all in the comportment, I always feel. It's also a great deal of responsibility, I feel. I need to reflect what's going on for the audience, sometimes explain the writer's nuances, entertain them with witty phrases they hang on my every word. Whilst not blowing my own trumpet, I sometimes get the feeling that it's actually me they're coming to see. Yes, they might enjoy the play because Gladys from number 32 is in it, but she, like the rest of the cast, are amateur, whilst I, of course, am in the business, a true professional. I get the distinct feeling that they could forgo the plays and then go straight to my adjudication, a bit like Eurovision, when instead of sitting through the tedium of the dubious range of songs, you turn it on when the judging takes place, as it's the only exciting part. Royaume-Uni, 12 points. In my dreams. I feel I am really doing them a public service. I must admit, though, that sometimes my attention wanes. There's only so long I can give it my all, and then I'm drifting off, thinking how it could be improved, how careful character placement would enhance it, and then I see myself again, when I trod the boards, my Hamlet at Stratford, doing Wilde at Oxford, and Beckett at the Orchard. I remember taking the applause at the end, my public at the stage door, wanting to catch a glimpse, the write-ups in the paper. Oh, happy times. I can't help feel that there's a talent wasted. If only the talent scouts had seen those shows, and my life could have been so different. The new Olivier, Gielgud, Guinness. What's going on? Oh, they're clapping. It looks like it's finishing. They're turning on the lights and they're beckoning for me. Wait, let's look at my notes. I've only written 2 lines and then a series of doodles. I can't read that out. What can I do? Right. Signal. Toilet break. Take my pad and the programme with me. I'll write down a few notes, jot the characters' names down and use some of my stock phrases and ramble on a bit about diction and projection. No one will know the difference. After all, who's going to question the adjudicator?